Well, welcome back into the Mid-Norfolk farm garden. We've had some really heavy rain over the weekend here, and it's really nice. Things have brightened up a little bit here to get out and start looking, because things are changing so rapidly here. You may have seen I had to put some protection over this honesty because the pigeons were just eating it to death, but it's protected it enough for it to start growing through now, and it's really got away nicely. We collected the seed of this one because it's a lovely magenta, sort of different shade to the majority of honesty we've grown around here previously, which tends to be more purpley in a bluer palette. But this one's got that deeper red in it, and we're really pleased the way that's coming on. Hoping we're going to get it to seed here and establish itself alongside the blue variety we grow so commonly. There's also a white variety that I've never been able to find, but I'm hoping if we can, we'll extend the ranges we've got here. This whole border's really filling in quite well now. This is the daylily that I enjoyed growing so much earlier in the season. It's now getting very leggy and starting to flop, as you can see, but plenty to support it all around here. We've got a little bit of lemon balm. It's still growing away in here, supporting the tulips. More daylily here, different variety on the end. And this rose is Dunham Massey, which was planted last year in this relatively new planting area, along with these little late daffodil bulbs, tiny little narcissi, a little over 7 or 8 inches tall, that we popped into this area. It's done really well, and it's giving a fantastic late display now. My big bowl of tulips I've been watching gradually grow on. Buds are now just at their absolute best, not yet fully blown or opened, but the colours really formed on these. They were almost black to begin with, and now we're getting this beautiful purple as they start to open. I think this display in this pot's going to be absolutely spectacular. Different variety planted out in the soil around them, a double. Much lighter in shade, just struggling a little with the heavy rainfall and the weight of the water just pulling them down. Mixed planting, I think, in here. We've got some whites as well as those reds and purples. It's going to be really nice as that opens up. A little concerned they're going to be fully swamped by the herbaceous that's coming up around them. It's always difficult to judge exactly when you're planting bulbs late in autumn, just how they're going to sit within the foliage that's emerging in the existing planting. I think they'll do well this year, but I'm not sure they're going to be getting enough light in here with the competition that they've got to do well over subsequent years. Coming back to tulips, this is the established cutting garden as it was. We showed you over the last couple of weeks in videos we've shot here. Now almost over, as you can see. Very little left to come on here, but the tulips should do well. The iris is just starting to bud up in this border, and just look at this oxeye daisy that self-seeded and is growing into this block really strongly. Starting to get some colour in the bud now, and I think the display here in just maybe a week, 10 days if the weather's warm, is going to be absolutely incredible. Just to the side of that, I'm protecting and pulling the oxeye off this little area of Alstroemeria, which we've grown really well in this border previously. Had a lovely big patch of a white one that unfortunately has been completely removed by the building work here and the path going just behind me. But I'm a keen grower of Alstroemeria. I do like them. They give you a really good late colour summer cut flower once they get established. Can take a little bit of getting going. Buying them in the garden centres can be a little tricky because they always look much shorter than they will end up growing once you've got them established in a border. But these will grow to around foot and a half, I hope. But at the moment still just struggling through. What we have got in here also, and you can just see the stalks from where they were growing last year, are some dahlias. Now, we protected these with mushroom compost as a mulch, but there's no sign of anything coming up yet. I'm still not giving up on these because it's still early May. I'm hoping they're going to have overwintered, but we have lost an awful lot of things in this garden this year, particularly in pots. A lot of our agapanthus that were left out just haven't survived the hard frost that came in, I think in January, did for them, and they've just completely rotted off. So dahlias really traditionally have always been lifted and stored in frost-free damp compost or dry peat over winter and then started into growth again in spring. We know we're being lazy trying to get these to establish in the soil, but we're hopeful they may still come on. Got another little area of late planted tulips here. I think this is a big double, looks like an apple blossom type variety. Again, good healthy growth on this one. It's looking really nice in this area. Purple ones, I think, again from the same mixed planting that we spread around this garden at the end of last year. They went in quite late and still only just coming into full bud, showing the very earliest bit of colour. That should be really nice when they flower in this area. But again, they're going to be, I think, swamped by this herbaceous geranium, which really is a bit of a thug. Growing to around 2 feet already at this stage. Going to be a couple of weeks before that one flowers. The little early geraniums, got one just here, popping its head through this bronze fennel already in flower. Tiny little, very delicate flowers on this, but it's a lovely colour. It grows really well here as a perennial. Overwinters very nicely and gives us this early blast of delicate little flower buds scattered throughout the foliage at this early stage in May, which is lovely. And the hostas in pots that we showed you, I think last week we did a video on these. Really, just look at the lovely detailing you get after a downpour of rain on these leaves. They almost hold it in a waxy form. Looking really good. This dense canopy of foliage. We should be rewarded with some really nice flowers on these. Got some really nice variety of colours, sizes and leaf forms on these. One of my favourite plants to grow in pots. So versatile, you can move them around as and when you need them to give you a display, covering up something or just bringing them into the highlight spots in your garden where you can appreciate them when they're just looking at their best. And the first of the Montana clematis, probably a Testarossa this one, just trickling its way through this plant, flowering nicely, plenty of bud on it. I think the rose that's coming through it is a Finkenblau, which again flowers much later in the season, and under it, giving it a little bit of support now, just about finished, flowering currant. And just to its side, these tulips really giving a blast of colour. Just look at that. Beautiful striated richness of this colour. Absolutely gorgeous. Short-lived blast of colour obviously at this time of year, but well worth it. What lovely, lovely flowers to have in your garden.